triangle that's not a right triangle. So if I have a triangle that's not a right triangle, I've either got to use the law of sines or the law of cosines in order to solve it. Remember that when we're solving a triangle, I'm looking for all three sides, all three angles. So if I'm given two angles and a side, I'm going to use the law of sines. Or if I'm given two sides and an angle where the angle is not included, I'm also going to use the law of sines. So my law of sines just gives me these proportions. So I've got the ratio of the sine of angle A. Remember that our capital letters are our angles and our lowercase letters are our sides. So I've got the sine of A over side A equals the sine of B over side B, equal to the sine of C, angle C, over side C. Now, when I'm solving using the law of sines, I'm never going to use all three ratios. I'm just going to use two at a time, depending on what information I'm given. But let's look at an example of what's going on here. Alright, so always draw your triangle. Always draw your triangles and label them according to what you've been given. So remember that the side is across from the corresponding angle. So I'm given angle A, or 23 degrees, and I don't know what side A is, but I know that it's across from angle A. I'm given that B is 110 degrees, and I'm given that side C is 50. Not 50 degrees, it's a side. Alright, so I'm given side C. This is not an angle, this is side C. I'm given that side C is 50. Alright, so I've got to figure out, if I'm solving this triangle, I've got to figure out what A is, and what B is, and what angle C is. Now, if I'm given two angles, it's very easy for me to find the third angle in a triangle, because I know that triangle has a total of 180 degrees. So angle C in this case is just going to be 180 minus 23 minus 110, which in this case is 47 degrees. So I've already found angle C, and that's 47 degrees. Alright, now I'm going to use the information that I'm given to set up this proportion to figure out what A and B are. I can't find those at the same time, but let's find side A first. So if I'm looking for side A, well, I've got to use what information they've given me. So I've got to use C here because I know angle C and I know side C. So that's going to be one of my ratios. I know that the sine of 47 degrees over 50 is going to equal, and it doesn't matter if we find A or B, but I'm going to find A first. So I use that corresponding angle, so sine of 23 degrees over A. Now, to solve this for A, all I'm doing is cross multiplying. So I've got A times the sine of 47 degrees is going to equal 50 times the sine of 23 degrees. Alright, and solving this for A, I'm going to divide both sides by the sine of 47 degrees. And I'm going to plug that straight in my calculator. I'm going to do 50 times the sine of 23 degrees over 47 degrees. And I'm going to find that A is 26.7. Alright, so I've got A is 26.7. Alright, now that I've got that, I can find side B. I didn't have to have that, but now I'm going to find the remaining side. I need to find side B. I'm not going to do anything different. I'm going to set up my proportion I'm going to use the same ratio. I'm going to use the sine of 47 over 50. I've got that. Equals, now I'm looking for B, so I'm going to do the sine of 110 over B. Alright, cross multiply again. divide by the sine of 47 degrees. And when I plug that in my calculator, I see that B is approximately, and I should be writing my approximately's better than I'm doing, 64.24. Alright, so notice that when I set up my proportion, I have to have only one unknown. The other three things have to be filled in so I can find my unknown, and that's what I'm doing. I'm just using the ratios that I'm given and the law of sines and setting up a proportion and then doing the algebra to find my unknown.